Welcome back everyone to another Hearts of Iron 4 mod spotlight, and this time we'll be looking at GESHEFT 2 Full, which actually stands for Grand Expansion of Ships, Historical Equipment, Focuses and Technologies. Oh boy, that's a big one to say. Anyway, this mod is a sort of expansion of the tech tree that mostly focuses on going into the area of the Cold War. So let's just the United States first, so I can show you some things. It improves the infantry equipment line. It adds new motorized techs for later. Unfortunately, here there's a bit of a bug with the resolution, so I cannot show you the years. But yes, the new motorized give you increased speed and hardness on that type of equipment. And of course, that combined with more infantry equipment going up to the 1990s and the modern age, and then eventually more mechanized, which also branches off into two types of mechanized, just like in Millennium Dawn. There's a lighter mechanized and a heavier mechanized, which of course gives different modifiers in general. And yeah, that goes up to 1985. Then support companies are pretty much the same, so nothing strange. Armor, we have the all-present armored car, which unlocks the armored recon. Okay. Then the light tanks go a little bit further off into the 1950s, and of course there's more main battle tanks. Then there's the ever-present amphibious and glider tanks, which are fairly nice to have. Of course, wait. Oh, okay, right. Fairly useful overall. And then we have heavy artillery in the artillery branch, along with some text to improve the naval AA along with normal AA. And then of course it goes off into well, ATGMs to replace AT guns, and then SAMs to replace anti-aircraft guns, going off once again into the 1985s and 1990s, etc. What's really most interesting about the mod, I think, is the continuation of the doctrine trees, because here I think there's a bug, because modern superior firepower is supposed to be a continuation of superior firepower and grand battle plan. But here it only says superior firepower. So I think that if you pick Grand Battle Plan, you're not going to be able to get the modern doctrines, which is a bit of a shame. Anyway, these do give you quite a lot of bonuses. They're quite a bit like what used to exist in Darkest Hour, where you had a continuation into the 1950s. Of course, the main problem with doctrines and Hearts of Iron 4 is the fact that they are not time-based, the research, so you can just plow down through. So in this case, you can kind of just finish one and then continue on. So you can have Unified Axis Doctrine, Unified NATO Doctrine, and Unified Warsaw Pact Doctrine probably by 1942. And that, of course, could give you such a huge advantage over other AIs that don't really do this and don't focus on doctrines. Anyway, the Axis one, of course, kind of focuses on tanks. And then this left one, the Special Forces focus, Air Cavalry, and Night Assault. These are all the same for all of the trees, so nothing strange there. This focuses on armor. This focuses on aircraft and also defense. And this focuses on mechanized infantry, speed, and motorized infantry. The starting one is reinforcement rate for these two, and recovery speed and maximum speed for this one. So overall, a nice little continuation of the land doctrine tree. I just wish that it could be coded so that you would need a certain date to research those. There's a bit of an expansion of the navies, but as far as I understand, it's still under works. So there's the Farragut, level 5 destroyer, and there's a couple of cruisers. This one is actually interesting because it's a nuclear cruiser, the Long Beach, and so you can see that the maximum range is, well, yeah, And then there's the nuclear supercarrier for the United States, that is the Nimitz. Unfortunately, it looks like they incorporated a well, it might be a mod I have, but these look much better than they do in a normal game. And then the Nimitz looks like shit, so it's kind of a shame. There, naval doctrines are the same. Aircraft is another area where everything changed, of course, because we go off into the 2000s, so very, very far down. There's tons of different types of aircraft. It's actually very confusing. So the fighter line and close air support line. Close air supports are normal. They just stay how they are. They just get better. The fighters, however, you of course go off into the jets, and then eventually you also get carrier jets, which is nice. And that goes down into interceptors that are kind of a multi-role. They can do a little bit of everything. And then you get the naval bombers, the torpedo planes. They become unable to go on carriers. They become heavy naval bombers. So these become more like maritime patrol, and they become, of course, very, very strong at anti-ship actions, of course, without having the ability to go on carriers. Then you get the supersonic well, I'm gonna call them supersonic interceptors, but yes, you do get these interceptors that are obviously kind of supposed to shoot down the big bombers later, along with another type of fighter, which comes down from the heavy fighter. So they're a little bit more survivable. And then the difference between that and the multi-role is that, of course, as you can see, there's a bit more defense on the quote-unquote interceptor, but there's also much more range. So you're kind of trading off certain traits for each other. So you're trading off in this one the ability to deal, well, you have a lot of range and survive more to deal more damage, essentially, because you do get where is it? You get the superior air attack, 288 as opposed to 256. So that's exactly. Interestingly, this has a ground attack, but it doesn't say that it has a ground attack. Well, it has a ground attack stat, but it doesn't say that it has a ground attack ability, which is interesting. I wonder if there's a bit of a bug there. And of course, these can go on carriers. So then eventually you end up with the multi-roles, the interceptors, and also the close air supports that are able to go on carriers. And you can check out the differences in stats if you want. So of course, one of them will be superior for certain things, and another will be superior for other things. Then the big bombers kind of stay the same. There's the medium bombers, which turn into eventually multi-roles. So these actually have the ability to kind of defend themselves a little bit against enemy airplanes. And then you do get the stealth bomber. I wonder if that has any superior air defense. Well, it does have a very superior air defense, but it doesn't really seem like... Yeah, it's probably gonna still get massacred. Interestingly, the speed is much better for the B1 Lancer than for the B2 Spirit. Weird. Anyway, yeah. So tons of stuff there, and then there's also helicopters, but I'm still not sure what these are meant to do. Like, I think they're supposed to be on the ground? Oh yeah, right, okay. So you do get the attack helicopters. Are they para-droppable? That's something that I would like to see. Can you para-drop the attack helicopter? No, you cannot. So you cannot actually put the attack helicopters airborne. Yeah, so there's air assault and the mobile, which let's see, what are your stats? So lots of soft attack, amazing hard attack actually, quite a bit of HP, and what I'm looking for really is the speed. Let's see, it doesn't really say. So it requires the helicopters, the infantry. It has some malices towards forests and jungles, and tons of breakthrough. So it is pretty damn strong, but I'm not sure. It doesn't really tell me the speed, which kind of pisses me off. Yeah, look at that, maximum speed, and it doesn't do that here. So I'm guessing it just gets the speed of everybody else. But yes, so air assault, pretty good. Then the attack helicopter battalion. Oh, okay. That's a lot of maximum speed. 300 kilometers an hour. Not bad at all. So the attack helicopter battalion also has really good breakthrough and amazing soft attack. Not as good of a hard attack though. Let's see, what happens there? Oh yeah, so this is actually bugged. Anyway, don't use air assault. Use the attack helicopters. And the attack helicopters are in general just really, really nice. It would seem. The problem being, of course, that they're expensive. I'm guessing. They're really, really expensive. So, and probably not quite as tough as tanks, most likely. So if they get actually caught, then they're gonna die. And they probably can't fly over anything, which is unfortunate. And then that branches off into two areas now. There's... So there's... Okay, so this is the attack helicopter, and this is the air assault. Huh, okay. Well, it still says that this has 250 kilometers an hour, so I'm guessing that the split there still has to be worked out a little bit. Little bit. And the hard attack... Yeah, look at that hard attack. It's very strong. Tons of piercing. So yes, helicopters are good, but yeah, they're very late. And of course, this is staying the same. Engineering gets quite a bit of new things. You get new surface radar for your ships, which is very nice. I think that it should be a little bit later in terms of technologies though. 1938 seems a little early. You get tons of new radars down there, so you're going to be able to see all the things. And then you get tons more rocket techs, which eventually branch down into ICBMs. So you get that really huge strategic bombing missile. That's also kind of expensive now, isn't it? Yep, kind of expensive. And then can go very, very far. So ICBMs are strong. Then you also get anti-ship missiles, which is very nice. For naval bombers only, I was thinking that that could be given to multi-roles as well. As in allowing these guys to have superior naval attack because of anti-ship missiles, because in real life these planes can fire anti-ship missiles. I mean, it's kind of why they're put on carriers, but oh well. Then you get, of course, anti-ship missiles that are coming in from ships. Weird. Anyway, so yeah, you get those anti-ship guided missiles on your destroyers, cruisers, and etc. So increases your firing range and your naval firepower for those ships. Massively increases their usefulness, of course, against enemy vessels. And then you also get the manpad, which ridiculously improves the air attack of all infantry and motorized. Let's actually see by how much. Right now it is how much? So air attack 0.1. Research on... Should have done that earlier. Back. Icon. Click. There we go. So we're gonna go in and get that manpad, and then there's also an additional manpad at the end. So now we have the red eye. There's 1.1 air attack, of course, because that wasn't really that high of a base. And once we do the stinger, how will that turn out? 1.6. So a decent increase, of course. Not quite as strong as if you were to put some actual anti-air. I don't have any anti-air researched right now. Let's go ahead and do that. but it's still a nice increase, just in case you want that extra air defense. Let's do the Patriot, because of course, why not? We do have the mighty Patriot. And anti-air, that's a lot of air attack. The Patriot itself is probably pretty strong. Let's see. Patriot, Patriot, Patriot. Yeah, look at that, 96 air attack, which is probably a lot more than your standard AA gun. But, I mean, to be honest, that increase should be much higher. Like from 17 to 95 to 96. I don't think that's high enough of an increase. I think that... Yeah, I still think that the stats for both air defense, like aircraft defense, if we go ahead and look at, for example, the P-40 Warhawk, the air defense is 10. Huh, does that? Yeah, I'm guessing that also, or maybe agility. Yeah, agility 50. So if we go down to the F-35, the agility there is 120. So I'm guessing that these stats should be increased accordingly so that nations that are more behind on technologies get a bit of a bigger impact done to them by that modifier. Anyway, then there's also artificial satellites, which decrease your research time. Unfortunately, it only does that. Really like for it to trigger events, but oh well. And then in industry, there's a new medicine branch, which increases your recruitable pop and decreases division attrition. Perhaps increases the recruitable pop a bit too much. Anyway, non-motorized sporting units. It's a default division. I'm just reading off of the Steam page, by the way. Okay, so there's also some other changes, like in the map. There's a few provinces that are different. I'm thinking in Europe. Not that I see, but it's possible that somewhere there's some changes. Might be Ostpreußen. Yeah, I'm thinking that Ostpreußen is different. Anyway, so yes, there's some changes to the map, apparently. I've not been able to actually verify it. No changes to resources. Then there's a mechanic to where if you actually defeat one of the three great powers, so the USA, the Soviet Union, and Germany, then there's a Cold War event that pops up, and that gives you some modifiers and tries to limit the aggressiveness of the AI so that there isn't a third world war quite as quickly, and you can actually kind of build up. And then there's like division limits for minor nations, where minor nations at some point will reach the division limit, and then we'll just start making their divisions bigger instead of spamming more divisions. That's to reduce the lag that happens in the late game from the number of divisions. That's a very welcome change. And then in general, the AI tries to upgrade divisions and make them bigger and better rather than of course make huge numbers of divisions. Also, another change, if we go ahead and look, is that normal generals only command 12 divisions and field marshals command 36. If the AI can use these changes, then that's really good, because field marshals being able to command infinite amounts of divisions is a little weird. And then there's obviously motorized artillery, just as usual, and some OOBs were remade to make them a little bit more historically accurate. That's something that's kind of normal. And then once in 1953 Stalin dies, there's some advanced chains for the Soviet Union there. Also, there's some work being done on the United States for advanced chains for them, and in general, that's kind of nice. So, I want to thank you for watching. As always, the link for the mod will be in the description. The credit goes to the mod developer. I did not make this. Hope you will try it, hope you'll enjoy, and I'll see you soon.